You don't have just one interest. You have many. You're not afraid of the work. You're paralyzed by the choice. This is the classic scanner's dilemma, perfectly captured in the phrase, "I could do anything if I only knew what it was." Society also has a word for people like you. They call you a dilettante, a jack of all trades, but a master of none. And the anxiety that comes with that label can be huge. It can feel like your greatest strength, your curiosity, is actually your biggest weakness when it comes to building a career. Today, we're going to challenge that idea. We'll look at the hidden structure of successful careers and explore a path for people who were never meant to be just one thing. But first, we need to understand why traditional career advice can feel like a trap. For most of the last century, the world praised the specialist. Society was more predictable back then, almost like a chessboard. The rules were clear, and the path to success was simple. Go very deep into one narrow field. Psychologists call this a kind learning environment. It rewards repetition. Practice the same thing again and again, and you get better. This is the world of the I-shaped person, someone with one deep pillar of expertise. But that's not really the world we live in anymore. Today's world is what psychologists call a wicked learning environment. The rules keep changing, feedback is slow or unclear, and the patterns are hard to see. Think about the difference between a golfer and a firefighter. A golfer works in a kind environment. The rules never change, and feedback is immediate. You hit the ball and instantly see what happened. A firefighter works in a wicked environment. Every fire is different, every situation is unpredictable. The rules are unclear, and past experience doesn't always apply. In a wicked world like this, hyper-specialists can develop blind spots. Now, to be clear, we absolutely need specialists. Their deep knowledge is incredibly valuable. The problem isn't specialization itself. The problem is when it's treated as the only valid path. When everyone is measured by that one standard, people like you start to feel like failures, when in reality, your brain may simply be built for a different kind of world. To build a career that fits your brain, you need to stop thinking in terms of job titles and start thinking in terms of shapes. The I-shaped person is the specialist. The opposite extreme is the dash-shaped person, a mile wide but an inch deep. This is the trap many curious people fall into, knowing a little about everything but never going deep enough to build real confidence. And that creates a lot of anxiety, because it feels like you have no solid ground to stand on. But there are other shapes. One of the most powerful for people like you is the M-shaped professional, also known as a polymath. Think of it like this. Maybe one pillar is data science. You go deep there. That skill pays the bills. Your second pillar might be storytelling. You go deep there too. And the horizontal bar, the thing that connects everything, is your curiosity about psychology, history, design, and other subjects. Suddenly, you're not just a distracted data scientist. You become the person who can turn complex data into a story that a CEO can actually understand. That combination is rare, and rare combinations create value. The skill that allows a polymath to do this is called far transfer. Specialists usually rely on near transfer, applying a skill to a very similar problem. But polymaths do something different. They take an idea from one field and apply it to a completely different one. Someone who studies the branching pattern of tree roots might suddenly see a better way to design a company database. A musician who understands harmony might see a more elegant structure in a piece of software code. That's far transfer. It's the ability to see patterns beneath the surface. And all those random interests you've collected over the years, they become the library of ideas your brain draws from to make these connections. So how do you actually build this kind of life? You need a different strategy. The first strategy is serial mastery. You can't build all your pillars at the same time. If you try, you'll stay stuck in the shallow dash shape. Instead, pick one pillar and focus on it for a season, maybe 6 to 18 months. The big question is, which one should you choose first? This decision is what paralyzes most scanners. But the trick is to lower the stakes. You're not choosing for the rest of your life. You're just choosing for this season. A good first pillar might be the one that provides the most stability,
Or it might simply be the one that excites you the most right now. Pick one, then give yourself permission to go deep. Your goal isn't to become a world-class expert. Your goal is to reach functional mastery, where you can handle most problems without constantly looking things up. Once you reach that level, something interesting happens. Your curiosity in that field begins to feel satisfied. At that point, you make a conscious decision. This is not quitting like a dabbler running away from difficulty. This is strategic quitting. You are graduating from one pillar and moving on to build the next one. The second strategy is about your job. If your mind naturally loves exploration, it can actually be smart to have a job that provides stability without draining all your energy. Many great thinkers live this way. Even Albert Einstein worked as a patent clerk. His job paid the bills and gave him mental space to think about physics. Your job doesn't always have to be your ultimate passion. Sometimes it's better to see it as a stable platform. A job that uses 70% of your energy leaves room for your curiosity to explore other things, but a job that demands 110% of you leaves no room for anything else. The final piece is building a system for your ideas. Let's be honest, a scanner's brain produces more ideas than it can possibly remember. Your mind is an idea factory, but your working memory is small. If you try to hold everything in your head, you'll feel overwhelmed. That's why you need an external system. The sociologist Niklas Luhmann published over 70 books. His secret was a system called Zettelkasten. Instead of writing entire books at once, he wrote down one idea at a time on small cards. Then he linked those cards together. Over time, that network of ideas grew into a huge web of knowledge, and that web helped him generate new insights. You can do the same. If you suddenly become fascinated with medieval architecture for a week, write down your notes. Store them somewhere simple like Notion or Obsidian. When your interest fades, you can let it go without guilt. Years later, those notes might suddenly connect to something you're working on, and that's where the magic happens. But it only works if you capture the ideas. So let's bring everything together. You're not a lazy dabbler. You're a scanner, someone with the potential to become a polymath. Your brain wasn't designed for the stable world of narrow specialization. It was designed to connect ideas across different fields. This path isn't always easy. Mastery still takes time. But once you understand how your mind works, the self-doubt starts to fade. You begin to see your curiosity not as a weakness, but as a strength. So pick your first pillar. Focus on it for this season. Use your job as a platform, not a cage, and build a system to capture your endless curiosity. You were never meant to master just one thing. You were meant to be the person who sees how everything connects. And if you're watching this thinking, my problem isn't having too many interests, my problem is quitting when things get hard, that's okay. You might just be at a different stage of the journey. Both challenges come from the same place. No one teaches you how to design a life that fits your mind. Your curiosity is not a weakness, it's raw material. The key is simple. Build one pillar at a time and let your interests connect over time. If this video helped you see your curiosity differently, consider subscribing to Peak Lab for more videos on psychology, productivity, and peak performance. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.